we're going to look at Isaiah Rodgers right now as well, too. Involved in a sports betting situation as well, where not only is he betting on sports, he tried to work the system allegedly by like using a phone not registered him and all that. But there's also rumors that he bet on Colts games that he participated in as well, too. There's still a lot of investigating to be done, but it is based on his Twitter post online, what he posted as well as everything we've seen. Looks like he's the guy got busted for sports betting, and we both know he's going to get suspended. We won't even we'll get to that in a little bit. But what's your initial reaction when you look at this? Like another guy busted for sports betting. That's like 7 this offseason now and counting.
Yeah, I do believe it's 7 this offseason exactly. And yeah, so there's so many caveats to the rule. Like for Jameson Williams, for example, it's come out that he bet on a college football game in another state that he was not staying at a team hotel in. Because it wasn't at a team hotel, it was considered illegal. So it's like, how many players do you think actually know that rule in the NFL? There's nearly, 500 of them every season? So give or take 7 total? And those would be probably the guys in the NFLPA rules committee. There's so few amount of people that would know something like that. But whereas Isaiah Rodgers, if it's to be believed that he bet on games that he was actually involved in, you got to know, dude. Like, you got to know at the end of the day that that's not a smart idea. I don't know, man. It's just, it's weird to me that it would be the case. I'm hoping maybe somebody got a hold of his phone and they did it. They did the betting from his phone. That's the case.
They've rumored like 50 to 100 different bets, so that'd be a lot of action.
Yeah, this is a situation where you have the Pete Rose thing, obviously, where he never actually bet on a game he played in. You have the old Black Sox, which is the Red Sox or the White Sox team that actually did bet on games they were involved in, including potentially shaving points. And you see how they're remembered as the Black Sox now. Pete Rose, who never bet on his own game, however, was actually never even bet on baseball, would literally bet on every other sport, but completely banned from MLB Hall of Fame because of that. Like, how bad will Isaiah Rodgers be penalized in this? And that's what worries me when I first hear that. Is like, you bet on your own games? Oh, you're done. Like, done. And I don't mean like a little bit done, like done for a season. I mean done. Like, sports done. A football career done. Shane Falco on a boat type of done.
I'll say especially if he bet on like the Colts to lose or something like that, and then you look at some of the plays, like were those potentially shaving points, that sort of thing. Obviously, that was a bad team; they weren't winning a lot of games, so it would not be smart to bet on the win in the first place. But there's a lot of things to look at in that are. If he did something like that, he's done. Let's say there's like he bet on the Colts to win. I guess that I don't know how they punt. It's obviously in that case it might be like he's still getting a year or 2 years. It just depends on the severity, I guess. But like if he bet in negative ways against his own team, he's Shane Falco.
Anything to do with special teams or defensive scores or defensive giving up points or whatever, anything to do with the defense or the special teams, I think that's bad. That's like the ultimate oh no. But if it's just on like offensive scoring players like Mo Alley Cox, any one of the offensive players,
yards or something like that,
any one of those offensive parlay type of bets, then I'm okay with it a little bit more. Like, I'm like, okay, well, at least you didn't bet on your side, like things that you could actually be directly involved in. Again, I know when I say I'm okay with it more, I'm still like, dude, you should have known better. But like 5% of me is like, well, okay. I kind of like whatever. But the other part, like, no, 95% of me is still like, dude, come on, this should have never been an issue.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And on top of that too, the point spread, anything like that, no matter what, it was wrong. I mean, the rule. I know the rules are a little bit shaky, but you're betting on NFL. That's already a no-go in the first place.
Yeah.
B, they can pinpoint you. Every sports betting app points you out on a giant map dot to make sure you're legal. Like, you're not tricking anybody. Like,
you have to provide your legal information for the tax purposes. They literally provide you with a tax document, people. Come on. Like, and then that does beg the question. If he did try to sneak the rules and try to use somebody else's phone, who ratted on him? Like, why did you rat like how much money did he lose for you to rat on him like that?
And on top of that, it's like you're willing to risk your career where you're set to make millions. Your 25-year-old corner is going to get paid coming up soon too. You must have been putting some wild parlays and hoping for some big payouts because you're not getting any money now. So hopefully you were winning some of that money because you're going to have to keep doing it now. You're going to have more time to do it. But It's a real disappointing situation. And I agree with you, touching back on the rules thing. The rules are really stupid. It should be very simple. It's either don't bet on NFL games, everything else, all right, we have leeway. B, don't bet, period. Just say they can't bet, period. It sucks, but like we're
It's
components of sports betting, both avid for better and for worse. But you got to make these clear and cut rules. You can't leave this weird gray area like at the facility, at the hotel, like this. It has to be very clear cut, dry.
I also say by partnering with betting apps, the NFL has done this to themselves because they've opened the door. And it's not a front door. They've opened a side or back door or back window to these same apps making deals with the athletes in the NFL in the off season to promote baseball, to promote basketball, to promote soccer, to promote those type of special parlay bets, and it then like where it gets so grayed over in the line that then your players are in the off season, they'll be at OTAs making bets from a facility, and that's obviously not legal, as we found out with the Jameson Williams thing. So it's like there's a fine line there that the NFL really, I believe, crossed here by partnering with these betting apps. And don't get me wrong, I'm again all for smart betting, but don't go crazy on this. But like, I think you kind of set this one up for your own players to be damned, if you will. Like there's no win situation for some of your players unless they just don't bet at all, and then they don't get the benefits of some of these other guys who get these advertisement deals. So it's like, and these are lucrative. Like let's not kid ourselves. These are lucrative advertising deals from a lot of betting companies. They are really much pushing their apps very heavily. Like this is a lot of money to be paid to athletes. Some of these guys will make more money from one advertisement with one of these betting apps than they would from a whole season of playing potentially. So yeah, it's a tough situation to think about. Like all around, it's just you just kind of hope that right here is not a situation where he just was just like, I'm going to bet on my own team type of thing. Like that, you just hope that's
exactly. I think if I was to make the rules, obviously, and I'm not the expert, I don't know everything that goes into it. I feel like the simple, cut and dry way to do it would be they can pinpoint where you're doing it. People are still going to probably try and break the rules, and they're going to get the hammer thrown at them. But to eliminate the weirdness, like guys, in this case, Isaiah Rodgers is still getting got. Like get him if you bet on the Colts, especially to lose or something, he could directly impact. His career is done. If you bet on the Colts to win or maybe something like that, or bet on like JT over 10 carries because even then sketchy because the game plan. Like it's sketchy, but it's a little bit.
It is a little sketchy in those situations.
Like maybe you go with like a 3-year ban there or something. I don't know if he didn't have anything to do with the Colts, then maybe you give him the Calvin Ridley treatment, or maybe you give him 2 years to lay down a thicker hammer. But what I think they should do with the sports betting rule is NFL players cannot bet on NFL games, and they can't bet on college football games because you don't know what ties they might have back there, that sort of thing too. Everything else, fair game. They'll pinpoint you, all that sort of thing. If you break that rule, you get caught. You get got. And whatever at that point too. But I feel like that's the only way you can, with everything you mentioned before, how they keep setting it up. At this point, it feels like that's the closest thing we're going to get to a middle ground without being ridiculous.
And let's not. Well, I mean, the NFL has enough power; they could literally tell DraftKings or whatever company it is to be like, "Hey, our players are exclusively going to go through you. I need you to shut off all possible bets for the team they play for, and any of the league that they play in, and their college that they're from." And that's just that simple. Like you literally just have a blockade on each. Like so, Jameson Williams, he can't bet on Ohio State, can't bet on Alabama, can't bet on the NFL. That easy. Like okay, done.
Some of these guys that transfer a lot are going to have a whole lot of X's.
Yeah. Will Levis will have a nice long list there.
Yeah, some of those guys like Sean Clifford and even there's going to be a long list for a few of those guys.
Yeah. So, but no, I do think there's got to be a way around it. There's got to be a way to figure it out. Make it easy. Keep it simple, stupid.
There's a way to do it, and it's a learning experience. In this case, for Isaiah Rodgers, it's not so much a learning experience. This was a dumb decision. Even if sports betting was completely legal, you don't bet on your own team that you're participating in. Even if they said you can bet on NFL games, the rule would always be don't bet on your own team. Like that part's. It feels like no duh. Have somebody else do the bet for you. Tell them, hey, JT's getting the ball this week. Bet his 100-yard over. Like tell somebody else to do that for you. Don't do it yourself. They pin you on your phone. There is a sports book in your stadium. Like if they're tracking you, they're gonna see that you're 10 feet away and be like, well, gee, I wonder what's going on here. And what do you know? It's registered to an Rodgers. Gee, I wonder who that is. Like just a doy.